what remains after all experience is done. That's the right answer. Nothing. Which is the source of everything. The enabler of everything. The Infinite One enables everything. It never becomes anything. It only enables everything. Does that make sense? It's like, sometimes I use the analogy of throwing a tennis ball to your dog. The dog kind of is the person that sees the tennis ball and chases it because it doesn't know any better. It's kind of stupid, but so sweet, innocent. But source is like you throwing the ball, right? It's like you tossing a creation into the field of life. And then the personas start running after it. So you're like source that throws the ball, but it's never attached to the ball. Now you cannot continue to be the enabler of experiences if you were to be dragged along with the ball. If you were actually attached to your creations, you would not be a very efficient creator because you would become your creations and you'd be stuck in that moment. So you're like the releaser of creations. You're like the enabler. You enable these things. But you will always remain free from the things you enable, beyond the grasp of the creations that you toss into existence. That's one of the senses that comes with it. Another sense that comes with it is that nothing ever happened. Not really. Nothing ever happened. And it kind of takes all edges off of this experience. Nothing ever happened. Yay! So now I can have fun. Because nothing ever happened anyway. Now, be careful not to lose your integrity and your morality, but you won't. Because you're all good people. But you can have the realization that nothing ever happened. When you have the realization that nothing ever happened, because of this intangibility that's now present, this ingraspability, this transparency that's now your awareness, you have now become not just awareness, but transparent awareness. Awareness transparent to its source, its enabler. In that mode, in that state, which is not a state, it's already here. It's freer than you can think of. It feels from that point of view like nothing ever applied to itself. To you as the infinite creator, to you as the one, to you as source, nothing ever applies. You see, everything can happen to creation. But again, it happens to the ball, it happens to the playing field, it happens to whatever you're enabling. It doesn't actually happen to you. Nothing can happen to you because, quite frankly, you're nothing. So nothing can happen to nothing. It's very hard for something to happen to nothing. So nothing ever happened to nothing. Everything always happens to everything. Now the liberating quality of this is that you can start to see and experience directly that whatever it is you're experiencing applies to consciousness. All the suffering you've done, thank you very much, has only ever applied to consciousness itself. It has never applied to the Absolute. You see, the Absolute has never blinked at any moment in your life. And it will continue to never blink at anything you ever experience. Oh my God, this experience is so intense. Can't get out of it. That's great. It applies to consciousness, not to you. So no need to change your experience, because everything applies to consciousness. But you are, quote-unquote, aware of consciousness. And you can see that even consciousness does not touch you. You can be with or without, beyond or engaged in. Everything that has ever occurred has occurred inside of consciousness. So who does an experience belong to? Every experience you've ever had belongs to that which is aware of the experience. Let that do the suffering for you, or the joy, or the happiness, either way. But see that it applies to the consciousness that's generating these experiences. It doesn't apply to you as the infinite. That's why it's peaceful beyond peace. Because peace is basically found in the energetic experience of the substratum of consciousness itself. The energy, the presence energy that makes up everything. Or the sense simply of spacious awareness. That's where we find a sense of peace. But as soon as we lose the recognition, or we're not yet fully convinced that that's always already here, we lose the sense of peace. But then it's back again. Oh, and it feels so good. But not really, because we're holding on to it. We're identified with peace. Now what if even peace would not apply to you? Now there is peace. The peace of not even having to be peaceful or not. Doesn't really matter because it doesn't apply to you to begin with. Nothing ever happened to you. Everything always happens to consciousness. Nothing ever happens to you. Everything always happens to consciousness. Nothing ever happens to you. So you are the infinite. Now this is like penetrating from the inside out, penetrating a little hole in the sphere or bubble of consciousness itself. Consciousness assumes itself to be the absolute, to be something, to be everything. And in a way it is, because everything applies to consciousness. But beyond everythingness, there is something else that's way faster, way more ingraspable. Beyond everythingness, there is, again, neither perception nor non-perception. So I'm not saying that's non-perception. I'm saying it's neither perception nor non-perception. This is kind of fun. Some people are like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, what the fuck? It's all fine. It's a little technical, the way I'm talking about it. Just use the methods to make it experiential, even though it's non-experience, in a way. What the fuck? Just do the methods, do the exercises, and see what happens. And if all else fails, just blame it on the fact that your apple is not yet ripe. And enjoy the ripening presence and just be still. Be quiet. I know that I am. Until the I am is resolved and emptied out and made transparent to its source, the ingraspable.